Hello everyone, it's been a few months since the Galaxy Z Fold7 has been launched and I immediately switched to this phone when it was released. Because, well, it was new, shiny, and of course a lot thinner than before, which was also one of my personal gripes when it comes to the previous generations of the Galaxy Z Fold series of phones. But in today's video, it's gonna be a bit unconventional because I want to talk about this phone extensively. And as you can see from the title and thumbnail, yes, the honeymoon is over because it's been like 2-3 months. I do have a lot of things to say about this phone. So I'm gonna be a bit harsh in this video because it's coming out of a place of concern because I do want this device to get better over time. But as it stands right now, there are still a lot of quirks, issues that I discovered, and they've been around for a very long time. And if Samsung really wants to improve the Galaxy Z Fold series to the point that it can be a mainstream device, then maybe if you're watching this video, then take heed about some of the issues that I'm gonna talk about. So yeah, do remember to hit the like and subscribe button as we are aiming to hit 100k subs real soon as well. So let's begin, and we'll start off by talking about the hardware because that is one of the main highlight of the Galaxy Z Fold7. So as I've mentioned earlier, the new Z Fold7, actually not new at this point in time, it's very thin to the point that it's like about half the width of the previous generation, which is a huge step up. And I can finally put this phone in my pocket and walk up the stairs without it having, a weird bulge in my pocket, my thigh area, and obstruct my movement. So that's a huge plus point. Some might say that the camera bump is thick, but I can live with that since camera optics, you cannot cheat physics anyway, so you need some Z height, and this is where the Z height is located. So I'm okay with that. But then again, the camera sensors themselves, especially the 3x optical zoom, they need to improve that. Because as of now, this 3x zoom camera is just not it. And the form factor improvement, yes, the aspect ratio in particular. So what Samsung did was to widen the phone a little bit this time around. The cover display itself is in a 21:9 aspect ratio, which is great since it is only slightly wider than the Z Fold 6, but not too wide to the point that it becomes a traditional slab phone, like, I don't know, maybe like the ROG phone, for example. So you can see the width difference right there. And personally speaking, I really do like the width of this cover display since 21:9 is just perfect to be used one-handed and I can reach the far side of the screen rather easily, not to say the easiest, but still easy enough. And then this whole part of the screen is easily reachable. And I can also swipe type with just one hand. So for example, this one, I can just do this. This is a test message. Whoops. And I can swipe type with just one hand. Yay! And yes, I do use the phone with my left hand alone. This kind of one-handed operation is just not possible on the ROG phone because if I just show you what I'm gonna do here, yeah, I can barely reach the P key with just one hand. And that is why I'm saying that this screen size is real good. But once you unfold it though, it becomes a nearly square display. And personally, I do think that this square display is just not it. Not because that it is a bad screen, but because the aspect ratio just doesn't work well with the apps. This is mostly something to do with the app developers themselves, but then again, if app developers don't update it, then the experience is gonna be horrible using this device anyway. For example, let me show you, okay? Shopee. I purposely set it to constrain to a 16:9 aspect ratio, so this is what I see right now. Okay? It's actually not too bad. I mean, there are wasted space on the left and right sides, which I can park it to the left or right side. And this is something that we have to live with. However, The real problem comes when we do this. Go back to the cover display, and then we open Shopee app. It will tell me to restart it every single time. I just cannot continue browsing from the inner display and to the cover display. I have to restart the app because the aspect ratio is different. So you might say, why not just fix the aspect ratio in the settings app? You see, there's this option here in the settings menu where you have full screen, 4:3, 16:9. Unfortunately, there's no 21:9 aspect ratio setting. If we can match the inner display's app aspect ratio with the cover display, then I don't think we'll have the issue as shown like what we had in Shopee, right? Again, this is just some weird quirk that I had to live with, and I think that it's very frustrating. But then there are some apps that I think are a bit more creative to use this kind of foldable device screens. So AliExpress, yes, this is the one app that has this kind of layout. It splits in two. So you browse on the left, and when I see a product that I want to take a look at, let's just say this case for example, then it appears on the right side. I mean, it's creative because I can do two things at once. I can look at this and then browse here. So I can kind of like sort of bookmark the product to the right side and then browse for alternatives on the left side. Fancy, I would say. But that is the only one app that I discovered to have this kind of utilization of a foldable device. And then we have apps like Lazada, another shopping app which you cannot really constrain it, so it will be always in full screen mode. And the why I say that you cannot actually change the aspect ratio is because when you go to, where's Lazada? This is the app default and you can only change it to full screen. No idea why, but yeah, that's how it is. If I change Lazada to full screen, well, it appears the same. So that's why I'm saying that you're constrained. And the experience when you're browsing Lazada using this phone is it's just frustrating because everything is way too big, and this interface is definitely made for those phones with either 16:9 or 21:9 aspect ratios. So let's just say this for example. You see, even the product thumbnail is real big to the point that the top and bottom got cropped off. You can go into the preview, but somehow all of the images move downwards and this bar is in the way. So yeah, again, broken interface. So when you move from the inner display to the cover display, yeah, a lot of the elements are still broken, I would say. It does need a restart to refresh the entire interface. So let's do that right now. Swipe it away, open Lazada again. And there we go, the interface is fixed. And now we can just look at everything like this. Which is why, honestly speaking, I use the cover display most of the time only. The inner display, pretty much neglected for my use case. However, there are some really good use cases, for example, Google Maps. So one of the things that I did was when I was traveling last week, I just used this entire map to look at where I was. I was staying in this hotel, and then if I just want to know Ximending, where Ximending is, it's right here. So I can just plot my route using Google Maps, for example, and then I can preview how to get there. And yeah, that's it. If you're looking at documents or maybe some full screen apps like Google Maps, then the inner display is amazing. But then again, because of this camera, the selfie camera, oh my god, it's so annoying. Some of the apps, I forgot which app, it doesn't actually wrap around the selfie camera and everything just displays on the selfie camera there. So all of my elements are just gone since there's such a big hole there. I would have personally preferred the under display camera found on the previous generation Z Fold6 rather than this cutout right there, because I just find that the cutout it's annoying. Oh, one thing that I totally forgot to talk about because it's such a non-issue right now is actually the crease. A lot of people will say that the crease is gonna go bad or whatsoever, gonna get deeper over time. Surprisingly, no, Samsung managed to fix the crease so well to the point that even after like 2-3 months of usage since I got this device, yeah, the crease is just still shallow. Of course, I can still feel it if I brush my finger across, but when you look at it like this, it's a lot better compared to the previous generations. I also thought that the crease will go deeper over time, but surprisingly, no. It looks very good, just like the day I got it. And one thing that I really had a problem with this phone in particular is when I was traveling last week, the battery life was terrible. So remember, this phone has a battery capacity of 4,300 milliampere hour, if I'm not wrong. And the first day while I was in the plane, yeah, I started off like around like 11 a.m. with 100% charge, and I ended the day at around 10 p.m.-ish when I reached the hotel to charge the phone, and I was left with around like 20 something percent, and I wasn't even using the inner display or this phone in general that much, because at that time I was reviewing the Oppo Find X9 Pro and I was using that phone more. So imagine if I only had this phone alone and I had to use this phone to, you know, doom scroll TikTok or whatever while waiting for my plane, and also to reply to messages, reply to emails and whatnot, then this battery will not last. Samsung really needs to do something with the battery life of this kind of foldable devices, or any devices for that matter, because even the Galaxy S25 Ultra was stuck in 5,000 milliampere hour battery for God knows how many years at this point. And yeah, overall, I do have quite a lot of issues with this device. Number one, the app interface, because the scaling is just really weird. And then the 3x telephoto camera is also very old, to the point that all the pictures are just very noisy, especially night shots. And then the battery life. Those are the three things that I had the most issues with. Now, you might say, why did the Galaxy Z Fold7 got so much hype when it was first released? Well, because the hardware is shiny and new and thin. That's the only thing that I can say, because thinness, it makes headlines. A lot of people are interested in a thin foldable, so there you go. It is a thin foldable, but is it practical or is it usable? I would say it really depends on your use case. For me, not quite, though I do like the inner display for some usages. For example, going to the exhibition and I want to look at the floor plan and whatnot. Foldable devices is amazing for that use case, but for the things that I want to do with the phone, yeah, those apps just don't scale properly with this kind of aspect ratio. So yeah, that's all that I want to share with you about the Galaxy Z Fold7 after using it for like 2-3 months. If you have any other questions, do leave them down in the comment section below, and I will try my best to answer you whenever possible, and we will see you guys in the next video. Do remember to like and subscribe, as we're trying to hit 100k subs. And yes, I generally still have a love-hate relationship with this phone, which you can also watch the video at the top right corner there, where we talk about the love-hate relationship with the Z Fold 6 last year.